express each of the following ratios in the simplest form, which I read just like take a fraction and write it in its simplest form. Okay, so 1a is 12 to 18. Okay, now hopefully I'm going to say this so many times you're going to get sick of it, but it'll stick in your head. If I'd written this as a fraction, 12 over 18, what would you do to both numbers to make it simpler? I should divide by
the highest common factor.
The highest common factor, which in this case is 6. Okay, so if I divide each one by 6, okay, divide by 6 and divide by 6, right? That'll give me, and I read it out as 2 to 3. Okay, that's the way I read it. Yeah.
So isn't it? It looks exactly like fractions. Like the answer with fraction be 2 over 10.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
What's the point then of having the ratio?
Okay.
Totally agree.
It's a language thing. It's much like, well, why do we have percentages and fractions when we established the other day, you know, a half and 50% and 0.5, they all truly are the same thing, just written in a different way. Good question, why would we? As we move through this a little bit further, you'll see times where it's much more natural to speak in this language than in this language. So give it about 10 minutes and you'll see. Okay. All right, let's have a look at 2. 2a. Okay, again, an example. Yeah.
So can you tell me? Yeah, it's big cold.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll put it on later. It's okay. Now, have a look at 2a. It says 1.2 to 0.2. Okay? Now, in this case, this is a bit weird. You know, neither of the numbers are just whole numbers, okay? So what I would do first is I would just multiply both by 10. I just want whole numbers, and then I can work with it, right? So if I multiply this one by 10, and multiply this one by 10, okay, what do I get? I'll get 12 to 2, okay? And now I do just what I did before. What's the number I divide through?
2.
It'll be 2, won't it? Divide this by 2, divide this by 2, and you get 6 to 1, okay? Divide each one, okay? Good. All right, last one. Let's just do 3a, okay? So it just gives you a fraction there. 1.5 to 2, okay? 1.5 to 2. So in just the same way as I did in question 2, right? Because the numbers aren't whole, I'll multiply by something, make it bigger, and then I'll see if I need to simplify any further. So what would I multiply by to change things into whole numbers?
25.
I want the smallest number I can, right? Smallest number I can. If I multiply by 1, I'll still get the same numbers.
2.
I'm going to multiply by 2. Now the reason why you go to 2 is because there's a half there, right? If I multiply by 2, it'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
So if I multiply this by 2 and this by 2, 1.5 times 2, that's 3. And of course 2 times 2 is 4. Now at that point, we do what we did before and check, do I need to simplify anything? And the answer is, I'm done. 3 to 4, it's as simple as it gets. Okay? Yes?
I'm just wondering, where did you get the, all in the first and all of them?
Yep.
Where did you get the example first? Where did you get the divided by
Yeah, okay, so all I'm thinking of, let me pull it back to those other questions we did with fractions, right? If I had 12 over 18, okay, and I want to simplify it or reduce it to its simplest form, okay, I think of, now it's called, the number it's called, the highest common factor. That's a number which would divide into 12 and divide into 18 and leave me with whole numbers, okay? And so you check through and you're like, what's the biggest number that I can divide this by and still get a whole number out? And the answer is 6, okay? Right? Now in these cases, I had to do, rather than dividing, I had to multiply. Do you remember why I had to multiply?
No, I stopped paying attention.
It's because these numbers aren't whole, right? I want whole numbers out the end, right? So that's why I multiplied and then I simplified a little more from there. Okay?
Right, so I'm just
Yeah.
confused now.
Yeah. Which part?
Because like, why did you pick times 10?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, in some ways, I didn't have to choose 10, but I'm just trying to get rid of these decimals. I don't want decimals. I want to end up with whole numbers at the end.
So did you choose as just like a random
It's just
number?
an easy number.
So I chose 10 because it's easy. Because all I have to do is move the decimal place. 1.2, 12.
It's a round number.
0.2, yeah, that's right. If I had more decimals, suppose I had something like, I don't know, 1.25 and, I don't know, 0.1. See how I've got 2 decimal places there? So to get rid of all the decimal places, I'll multiply that by 100. And I've got to multiply that by 100 as well. Okay? So I just choose whatever round number will make whole numbers. Okay? So that's how I chose 10. That's why I choose 100. Here I chose 2 because I saw there's a half. Okay? Excellent, you've done well.